And
Alrighty.
hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 79 of Technically Trek, the OG Technically Trek. I am your humble host, Dave Prime, and over there on my right, Travis is filling in for Katie, who has an early appointment to see a doctor, and we all know and love her and say that we don't have any hour of sleep is a good hour of sleep for her. So it's already
Absolutely.
middle of the night over there, so she's resting, and we'll hopefully be back next week, all better and whatever she's got going with her. We wish her the best in that regard. But how are you doing tonight, Travis?
I am doing pretty good, actually. Um, it's so funny because we're in a different time of the season and stuff. That Friday, which was September the 19th, was the first official day of fall here in the US, I should say, or here in North America and stuff.
Or the Northern
So
Hemisphere. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things where, well, we're getting to the close around where, temperatures are going to be mild, humidity is going to be at a low level, and, it's going to be some crisp air when you wake up in the morning to head off to work.
And yeah, it's wh- what is it right now? It's like 70 degrees outside in the Springs right now. We got a cold front coming in, and tomorrow's high is going to be a balmy 58 Fahrenheit. So
Well, I
yeah,
mean, it's
I'm already dressing up for the for
I
the
see that. I see that the little scarf. You got the scarf going. It's a little change for you, but it's nice. It's nice. So,
yeah. See
I mean,
the
it's 70, about 70, 71 here in, West Virginia, Huntington, I should say. And it's actually the weather picked up a short time ago, about 30 minutes ago, because we have a lightning and thunderstorm, supposed to be heading our way. And it's supposed
mm,
to be a brutal one too. Hopefully, it's not gonna knock out power or anything, but
fingers crossed.
anything if you see me disappear, anybody see me disappear, stuff like that, it's all due to Mother Nature.
Mm. Yeah, because
Yeah.
right now we don't have anyone backstage yet. So hopefully our regulars Tyson and Phil they'll pop in eventually. Because I did get a text from Phil earlier, just like that he's going to be here. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. But Tyson, he usually texts me if he's not going to show up. So hopefully he's going to show. But yeah, we definitely
Yeah.
got a couple viewers on there. So welcome everybody. And say we are on Rumble, courtesy of the Legacy Zach. Say he's got streaming on there, and he's streaming on his YouTube. So if any of you want to join in on the conversation with on camera with me and Travis, you just want to go to bit.ly/tech trek TEKTREK. That'll get you to my YouTube channel, which will have the StreamYard link for you to hop in live, which makes this show unique amongst other Star Trek podcasts because they always have like 4 or 5 different people on here, and they'll have the chat going in the YouTube, and they'll be reading them off, but they never let you pop in on camera on the air. And saying, but
If you do not want to, if you're camera shy, I should say, you want to interact with us and you camera shy, you can still join in with us via audio,
yeah,
and
audio.
you still we can still hear your voice and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
another little feature.
Sixers with us, so welcome, my man. Yeah, yep, Phil is backstage, so yeah, he's going to be popping in here as soon as he finishes eating. Yeah, see, my plan today, my plan was I got up in the morning, I gave one of my housemates a ride to work, and I decided it's like, you know what, I'm going to make this a day where I'm going to finally get everything all squared up in the back and everything like that. But there was an airport trip, so I took that, and I was getting a couple of good trips with Lyft. So I ended up just lifting until it was time to pick up my housemate at work just 4 hours later, and I made almost $100. So yay on that.
Yay! Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Then I came home. Our good friend and Becca, she was doing an Instagram live, so I popped in on that, and then I needed to go fetch a new shower stool from a nonprofit for another guy that's living here because the one he was using had to go back where he got it from because there's a kid. We need that back now. It's like, oh, sorry, been a crazy week. Here you go. And got him another one and saying, and
Yeah.
just never really the day never panned out the way that I wanted it to. And I may be a little
Ever?
more. And
Yeah.
I may sound a little more subdued. The thing I was sharing with Travis backstage for people that are watching that I do manage a sober house, and I had to kick someone out about this time last month because he was on meth and fentanyl and weed, and I tried to get him the help he needed, took him to the hospital, he walked off, and don't know what happened to him after that. But then about a week and a half ago at 6 in the morning, there was a car versus pedestrian accident where the driver that hit the individual took off. So they just committed a felony by doing that. But
That's
Friday evening, hmm?
I said that's unfortunate to hear.
Yeah, but it's even more unfortunate that the media released his name Friday evening. It was the guy that I kicked out. I
And that's
know.
even
I know I did nothing wrong. I followed the rules of the house. You're high, you're on drugs, you're out.
yeah.
But for his story to end that way, it I don't wish that on anybody. And
No,
I'm just
no.
hoping the CSPD is going to do their due diligence to find the SOB that hit him because yeah, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's those are unforeseeable, those things. It can have an effect on our lives and stuff and everything. But we mourn, we understand how sad something like that is. But I hate to say it, but life do continues and stuff because that's how the world works and stuff and everything. It's sad that the individual didn't get help. It's sad that he didn't
Oh,
ask for help. He didn't want your help or anything and stuff. Whatever happened to him, it's not his fault that whatever whoever committed that crime is at fault. For
absolutely.
him for him to be in a position where you had to kick him out, you know, that is something that was in his control to ask for help or get help and stuff and everything. And I wish he
And
would have got help from,
you know,
got help from you.
yeah, we took him to the hospital and we gave him a choice. You either come here to the hospital or you go to jail. And it just got to the point where we had to leave him at the hospital until he could get the medication he needed to get the detox, but he up and walked out of the hospital. So that's absolutely not my fault. He made that choice. He
Yeah.
made the choice to use. He made the choice to walk away when he could have gotten help.
Life,
But
the fates are fickle.
yeah,
If you believe in if you believe in the three fates, they're very fickle,
mm,
and we never know when our time is upon us, or when it's time for us to depart. We just live life as is, and hopefully, whatever you leave behind is better than what those have ever come before. But I just like I said, I really do hope there will be some closure, and for this investigation whenever they if they find the individual that committed this crime, this hit and run.
oh yeah, yeah, that's it. And yeah, but no, I say yeah, yeah, Sixer. Yeah, if you just go to the YouTube page, Dave Prime 1701, and say that'll have the link to get into the Discord server or to Discord server, StreamYard server, so you can get on camera with us. And
And
say, I guess,
everybody, please like and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget about our sponsor Dubby.
oh yes, yeah, Dubby, they are a great company, and that's probably the big thing that's happened to me last week. See, I got dentures, so I am
Okay.
say just they're partials, but I got a full set of teeth at the top of my mouth now. So yeah, they got a lot of great flavors, but I would be remiss if I didn't at least try the Grandpa's denture water. And what I might end up doing with when I do get a new flavor, say I will do like a live on camera, just like in here I go, give it a try, let's see what it tastes like, and go from there. There was another flavor that I wanted to try that I'm just drawing a blank on right now. I do want to try their s'mores, which you actually shake that with milk. But yeah,
Oh,
if you want to try some of those flavors, I mean they got a lot of flavors related to solo leveling. And say so if you're big into anime, if you're big into gaming, if you're big into streaming, Dubby is a great product to have to get you push you through that without getting that caffeine crash afterwards. So, but if you use the code TechTrek, TEKTREK, you get your 10% off any non-bundled orders. So if they have like, ooh, here's a 4 pack, 10% off doesn't work on that, but any other products, the shakers, the single products for the flavors and everything, that is an option to do. But let's see what so is there. Oh wow. Hello, Jim.
Jim and Sixer. Hello, everybody.
Yes,
Yes, long
yes,
time no see.
yeah, Sixer should be hopefully popping in soon. But yeah, so
And
yeah, just go to
Cassie, if you're
good.
still here,
Yeah, Dave Prime 1701 on YouTube, so you can pop in and get the link that
we're
way. So
yeah, we're gonna talk some Star Trek
yeah,
again.
yeah. Well, there's yeah, since we don't have anything new to talk about until Starfleet Academy comes out. Oh, Becca's here too. Hi, Becca.
Well, hello, Becca. Hey. Thank
Yeah,
you for
yeah,
joining us.
Starfleet Academy, it's probably not going to be out until I'd say February or March next year.
Hmm.
I think they got season one pretty much in the can, so now they just got to touch it up and get it going and everything. But between now
It's
and
gonna be
then,
interesting.
what what's oh, I couldn't tell what that was on the side chat, but now I can see it's like the hundredth. But yeah, since we don't have any new episodes to talk about, we will talk about episodes. We will talk about movies, but I want to kind of continue on with the discussion that we were kind of doing. We were doing focus on characters. We talked about Worf, we talked about Nog, Picard, Cisco, Janeway, which the Janeway episode is kind of plateaued, but it's just under 400 views on YouTube, which I'm just thinking that's like a record for any of my shows. So thank you to all those that watched it. Uh, uh, what was I think a lot of people are asking the same question, Jim, about that Section 31 movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
we did do a review of that, so you can check on Dave Prime 1 to see what a reaction was. I mean, it was, yeah, it was okay. It's
we
not.
discussed it, and stuff. Yeah, we discussed it at length and stuff and everything. It has its fans, but most part, it really left a sour note on people like myself and others like Tyson and stuff. It just didn't land it with us and stuff. I mean, it's like,
It was
okay,
it was good as a movie, but not a Star Trek movie. You
no,
it
yeah,
had it had Star Trek characters, saying, Nate, I mean, pretty much the 2, like, established character was Georgiou and Rachel Garrett when she was younger before she took command of the Enterprise C. And they definitely left a big Easter egg at the very end of that movie when Control is made an offhand comment, says, "Hey, you guys are gonna go to the planet that's gonna go to down the crapper here in a couple of years."
but
Oh,
tonight we're talking what? Tom and Balana?
Tom Torres. Tom and
Tom
Balana.
Torres. Okay,
And
Tom
oh,
Torres.
yeah, but I'll see. Hold on. See, the link should be.
Like we said, anybody is welcome to join us, whether there be in chat or you want to come on audio. And if
Oh
you
shit!
want to become, are you okay, Dave?
No, I'm not because the freaking link's not on there. I'm going to get that fixed here in about 10
Let
seconds.
Dave do some technical work and stuff. But like we said, we want to we want everybody to interact with us. We welcome any other people's discussion, their thoughts, their views, their concerns, or anything when it comes to, other points of view of the topic at hand and Star Trek and everything else. We like to hear all kinds of facet news and stuff and everything. Just last we were just talking about recently, Section 30, while Dave is working his technical thing. Um, Recently, if people did not know, that Paramount was bought by Skydance. Skydance
Hmm.
is uh, owned by David Ellison, who is the son of Larry Ellison, who is in competition with Elon Musk to be one of the wealthiest person on the planet and stuff. Larry Ellison is the founder of Oracle here in the U.S. And with that said, I should say his son David Ellison is a huge movie fan. He is a big he's been trying to get into the entertainment industry. He's financed a lot of Paramounts, I believe, movies and stuff and everything else. But Skydance bought and the purchase was finalized last month. So it's called Paramount Skydance uh company corporation or something. Well, with that said, just not long ago they had a board meeting, um I think earlier this month, with David and others, and they talked about the future of where they want the direction of the new company to go. And they talked about like the properties, the IPs, and one of the IPs they talked about because David Ellison is a Star Trek fan, and they're going to be doing some course correction on a lot of Star Trek project and want to have Star Trek project come out that that is appealing to fans because as we just talked about the Section 31 movie, it really didn't do well for a lot of fans. And
Link is now down. Refresh the YouTube page. The link is now there. Sorry, guys.
so the link is down where they fixed it and stuff. But like I was just saying real quick, that Larry Ellison or David Ellison is the head of Paramount Skydance. And they want to get Star Trek back into the fold
Oh,
of, the uh Gene Roddenberry, Rick Berman type of Star Trek that we come to know and stuff and everything else. So look for future Star Trek because it's under a new leadership now. So new leadership means some interesting projects when it comes to, Star Trek.
I gotta say that's a cool little feature, Sixer, for you to mute and unmute your microphone. You just hit it and it lights on and off. And
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear? Can you hear me? Can
yeah, see, I got one that kind of
you?
lights up. It just does a lot of.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Amount
Sixer.
of times when I've done live streams on my other channel, which is called the British Buck. I mean, make sure you subscribe when I do my live music. Sometimes think when I'm playing music, I mute, but when the music's over, I forget to put it back off. And I'm there sitting like. By the time I realize, or my people in the chat tell me you're muted, I thought, right, I'm not. I'm gonna have to say all that all again so they know what I was saying.
Well,
So
we
yeah.
do appreciate you stopping by.
Oh, and those that are new to the channel, Sixer here is the creator of Star Trek Defiant, which is a YouTube series, which it's
I have, to,
great.
I have a little bit of good news. My channel has now reached 2,800.
Woohoo!
Another 200, and we'll cross the 3,000 marks. Make sure you're all subscribed. Help me get me across that 3,000 mark. Getting so close. Chapter 9 is halfway done.
Yay!
Animator doing some
Oh,
good work at the moment. So I've got the prologue. I got half of the main, and I've looked at how oh, my animator, he is chef's kiss. He is a fantastic animator. He does some great work. Patrick B. Rube, he's Canadian, and I'm not gonna hold that against him, but he is a fantastic, fantastic. And the thing is, see, you could say I'm on the right, he's on the left, but Star Trek brought us together,
Mm.
and we're best of friends regardless. And it just proves that Star Trek can bring people together regardless of who you are, and we as long as we just, it's hard to explain. I mean, as long as we don't talk about anything else, that involves in that, we tell each other, shut up, because we value our friendship too much, and we're very good friends. And because of this, because of Star Trek Divide, doing this
Yeah,
project together, doing
right
this
on.
project together has brought us together. And I said we had been best friends ever since we started doing Defiant. So, and I think the first was what got four, must be 3 years ago. We started Defiant. I can't remember. I need to look at it, but I think probably longer than that. That's how long it takes to do 8 episodes.
Yeah, as a peep,
Well, there's only
as
two of us. There's only two of us. He's the only animator out there. And, I do the rest. I do the story. I do the script, the voices, and the sound effects, and music and editing. But the real is my animator.
yeah,
I just bring everything to life.
as someone with a broadcasting background, I can attest to that. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Hello, Jim. You just said hi. I'm just saying hello back. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, you're
It's a
looking.
lot.
I forget what the math was on it, but it's like for every 5 minutes of video that you shoot, because I'm way back analog, late '90s, but every 5 minutes of video that you shoot, you're looking at about an hour in the editing bay.
All right, I just looked back. The first chapter was released a year ago.
Mm.
First chapter Defiant was released a year ago. Doesn't feel like it. Feels longer than that, to be honest. But there you go. Yeah, first chapter. According to this,
you'd
yeah.
be surprised how
Yeah.
fast a year can go by, and you just
No,
blink of eye.
and it had received 19,000 views.
Nice.
That's the first
Nice.
Yeah,
chapter.
Congrats.
yeah.
Well,
Say
Dave,
yeah,
you want to continue with our story and topic
yeah.
at
See,
hand?
yeah. Refresh my YouTube page back to the link will be on there for you. But yeah, Tom and Balana, two peas out of the same pod. I say they both have had their own like tragic past. It's like Tom getting caught up with the Maquis and getting arrested, and Balana trying to be the second Klingon in Starfleet but dropped out, and she too joined the Maquis. But but yeah. Oh, Sixers link. Yeah, she got a potential new subscriber there, Sixer.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
just type in Star Trek Defiant in the link, and it'll be right there. No, you have no problems. Type just a Star Trek Defiant, and it'll be right there. I
Yeah, but
can't unless I get Ingmar. I'll give you the link in the private chat, and you can paste a copy because I don't have a wrench, so you're gonna have to put it in there for me. So you bear with me.
no problem.
Oh,
But yeah, like I said, yeah, Tom and B'Elanna, I mean, they had their own tragic past, and they're both upset. They're trying to make things right again, and like it just their story arc is almost identical from start to finish. Even when they started dating each other, then they did the deed and got B'Elanna pregnant with Muriel and all that. But there's like a lot to discuss. So, well, I'm
chat.
not sure how much.
Link is in the private chat, so if you want to give that to her.
You know, when it comes to Tom and Balana, I start right here with this and stuff and everything. Let's start with season one because season one was a short season. When it comes to, we saw Janeway first recruited Paris from a Federation penal colony in New Zealand. And I mean, we was getting backstory stuff and everything else. We got his backstory. You look at that, and not much was talked about in season one with Tom. We just know that he joined the Maquis after he was kicked out of the academy on his first mission. He ended up getting caught, and he went to he went to prison and stuff and everything else. But Balana is another one. Balana, I always thought Balana Torres character was an interesting story arc from the time she's we seen her in Caretaker until the very end and stuff,
Mm,
and it really set a precedent because we seen a half Klingon, half human female before, and that was in
Generations.
TNG as Kalar. Worf
mhm,
is, and stuff and everything. And I thought it was interesting too when they decided to when they create the show, they're going to have a female engineer who was a half Klingon, half female, or half human, and it watching the story when in the episode Parallax. That was the second episode of, well, you could say, because it was a two-parter. The Caretaker was a two-part episode, but it was like the third episode slash second episode of Voyager when we saw Voyager basically was they was trying to put people from the Maquis crew into positions where they can be useful at their expertise and stuff and everything else. And the captain was because they lost the chief engineer, and the whole thing with them stuck in a type 4 quantum singularity and stuff and everything else. Belana Torres and Lieutenant Carey was bidding for the chief engineer spot,
mhm.
and it really showed, that part of her, of the storyline that we was going to get with her. But another episode that actually really took off to me was uh what was it was ooh I can't even remember. I'm trying to think with Balana because it I think it was, no, not Prime Factor, but it was Faces.
Mm,
It was Faces. I really, because that's when the Kazon kidnapped Paris, Fur, and Lieutenant Durst. And when they started experimenting with Balana, and basically we didn't even know that they could do this, but they basically separate Taurus's Klingon side and
It
her human
wasn't the
side. And that
Kazon,
was
the
interesting.
Vidians. It was the Vidians, not the Kazon.
yeah, the VDNs.
Why did I say that?
You say
I don't know.
Kazon.
Why did I say Kazon? Excuse me, everybody. It's been a long one. I'm still trying to recover from a long
It's
weekend and stuff and
forgiven.
everything. The Vidian
Vidian.
solidarity. The Vidian solidarity. And it was interesting to see that they split Balana, and it showed. her one half, Klingon side that was very robust and stuff and everything else, and then
Very
her human
Klingon.
side that was frail and fragile and stuff and everything else. And you can see too that right there shows the story arc of seeing B'Elanna throughout the entire Star Trek Voyager, that she battled within her own self. If anybody saw any episode that was a Balana Torres episode and stuff and everything else, there was a lot that you know she went through. Not only just fighting others and stuff like that, but she fought a lot of battles among her own self and stuff.
Yeah, and
And
Kalar, and saying they pretty much carbon copied that because she was struggling with her human and Klingon halves as well. So it's
she did, yeah, she did. Oh my goodness.
It
And
sounds like
saying,
Kayla
it,
seemed
it,
to have embraced it better than Balana did, to be
yeah.
honest.
Yeah. And you could say this too about, like, her parents,
yeah.
about each one parents and stuff and everything else. Balana even said when she was a kid, the relations with the homeworld, Klingon homeworld, and the Federation, it was tense. They were still were allied, but the relationship was tense. Like,
Fragile.
where she grew up with, people didn't say anything, but they looked at her funny because she grew up around more humans. And it was one of those things where she kind of hated her Klingon side. You could tell she hated her
Oh,
Klingon side.
absolutely. And Kalar,
Yeah,
same way.
Mm.
yeah. Oh, because it got them in a lot of trouble because that Klingon side came out. Even Bavada said that she did something to a schoolmate of hers, and she calls uh, uh,
Gave somebody
I won't
bloody
call her
nose.
toy. Yeah, she gave somebody a bloody nose, and she calls one of the schoolyard type of thing malfunction or something, and something happened and everything else. It's pretty interesting. But Lana Torres, watching her throughout the entire Voyager saga, it was an interesting. She had one of the most interesting story to me. She had one of the most interesting story arc because not only she fought with herself, but she kind of fought with others. But her and Janeway, they butted heads. Like, she kind of butted heads with Janeway, especially in the episode Parallax in the beginning. Her and Janeway butted heads. Janeway asked her, "Why did you leave? Why'd you quit the academies and stuff and everything else?" And they finally worked together to figure out how to get the ship out of the quantum singularity and all this other stuff. And she made her chief engineer, and the crew finally started coming together. It wasn't, Maquis and the Starfleet crew battling each other. They realized that everybody needed each other to get back home and stuff and everything. And B'Elanna was put in a position just like Chakotay as a senior member who was a former Maquis and stuff like that, in a position of authority in the ship and stuff and everything. And she and Janeway come to rely on her and trusted her. But there was one time too that Janeway, not just one time, but there was at least I can remember two times that Janeway was really disappointed, and was disappointed in B'Elanna Torres, and she really showed how disappointed she was. And B'Elanna Singh, just how that affected her when she knew how wrong she were when the person who gave her almost a second life to live, in a sense, on a ship that she never thought that she would be a chief engineer of and stuff and everything else,
That was with
to try to
the
redeem her
folding
story arc.
device, wasn't it? That was with that
Uh,
transport folding device that the data they called tried to integrate it with the Voyager, but it started overloading systems. Was that one you were talking about? Because she was very disappointed with that. Trusted her, take a while to get her trust back again after. You know,
Yeah, and
One,
then of course when Janeway figured out Tuvok was
Sesker and
involved
Tuvok and can't remember how
in
those two
getting
were.
that
we're thinking
technology.
of the prime factors,
Mm,
and that's one episode. And then when and I think it was in season 5, Extreme Risk.
Hmm.
Those are the
Yes.
episodes where Janeway showed her disappointment in B'Elanna.
mm.
And,
Oh,
and
because I
then
mean,
go ahead.
See, I can see a lot of myself in B'Elanna in that episode, Extremers, because I mean, she just found out that the Dominion pretty much wiped out everybody that she knew in the Maquis. And of
Yeah.
course, we later find out, especially with in season 3 of Picard, that Rolaren survived as well. But
He turned herself in.
yeah, but just she she didn't know how to express her anger, her frustration, her sadness. So that's when she just started doing these really ballsy, dangerous stunts and maneuvers just so that she can like feel again.
Feel pain, yeah.
And you know what? That was a really good episode too. The streamers showed a really good episode of B'Elanna trying to cope with, you know, the Trump the
The
sadness
Trump.
that she heard, the sadness that she, was enduring by hearing about her friends getting wiped out by the Dominion and stuff. But with that said, she learned, you know, yes,
She
yes,
felt hopeless and helpless
yeah,
because she was
absolutely.
thousands of light year, tens of thousands of light years away when it happened.
And a lot of them too, because Chakotay, even when he broke the news, he Berlana was the first person he broke the news to, because when they finally got was able to get in contact with
Pathfinder.
Starfleet.
Starfleet and stuff and
Mm.
everything else, and they sent some updates on what's been happening and stuff. Everybody got their little personal message and stuff. I mean, it was like, what the hell happened back there? I mean, I know you literally have been on the other side of the galaxy and stuff, but like in this short amount of time, you mean to tell me all of this happened and stuff? It's like you'd be surprised how much happened when your guys was on the other side of the galaxy and stuff. But with that said, Balana, like I said, Balana had another big story, a story part of Balana. It was it was very interesting, and I thought it was like, oh my goodness, I really enjoy that particular episode because it gave me a unique perspective on you know how well, let me just say the episode was called Random Thoughts. If anybody remember Random Thoughts, it was
Remind me.
basically when Voyager encountered a telepathic species, the Mari, if I'm not mistaken. And the Mari basically said that they eliminated, all crimes on the world. That they,
Yeah, violent
if,
emotions.
if you have if you
Yeah.
have violent thoughts, they can purge those violent thoughts from your mind and stuff and everything else.
Now become a
But
commodity, wasn't it? Over there, they'll
huh?
sell. It's like a commodity. They take their emotions, like emotions on the black market, don't they? They sell people's emotions. They the get someone to react, telepathy grab it, and then transfer it onto someone else for a price or whatever.
Hmm.
Well, make a long
I
story
remember
short,
that
in this
one. Yeah,
particular episode,
Balana got into
well,
trouble there.
because the Mari never encounter, like the humans, the Klingons, and all these, because they're a new species that they never encountered.
Yeah,
One of them, since some very extreme thoughts from Balana. So they correspond with each other to like root out one of her violent thoughts and stuff and everything else, which she did not know, at the time and stuff, that having violent thoughts is a crime on their home world and stuff. Well, needless to say, we saw how they got that thought out of her. We just looked like somebody bumped in her, and she just like, oh damn, what's wrong with you? But
look where you're
it's
going.
okay, I
Yeah.
understand, and stuff like that. But she had a violent thought and reaction.
Yeah, so she did a
Well,
great job of suppressing it and not releasing it, but she was still it was still turning in her
I like a
head.
comment at the end. I like a comment at the end when they manage to get her out. He says, "Well, some of your emotions some of your negative emotions have been removed." She says, "Don't worry, I've got plenty more."
well, Real quick, to make a sum up this particular episode, when they did an investigation and somehow somebody ended up getting beat up, and stuff and everything else,
Terrible role.
and they traced that violent thought back to Balana and stuff, and she was arrested by the Maury. Tuvok was involved in the investigation and stuff, and Tuvok started digging up on the whole thing about like violent thoughts and stuff in the Maury civilization and stuff. Needs to say Tuvok went into their black market and stuff and everything. And being a Vulcan himself, Vulcans, as we know, Vulcans have,
Suppressed anger.
extreme,
Yeah.
dangerous,
Anger, yeah.
violent, emotions
Emotion.
and stuff and everything else.
Yeah.
But they learned to suppress them. It took them, many centuries to, with logic and discipline and stuff and meditation and everything. When Tuvok ended up mind melding with, the other one, and they, needs to say the Mari never experienced Balana's thought in a way because it was too violent for them because it was still being passed around and they tried to contain it. It was still being passed around. And some people could not handle that violent thought and stuff and everything because it let out a lot of emotions and stuff. And it showed a different part of Tuvok too. So it was Balana and Tuvok showing both of their violent side of them. Not saying that we haven't seen it, stuff like that, but like Tuvok and stuff. And watching that, and as you said, Sixer, at the end, when they was coming out of sick bay, some of their, fiery impulses and stuff and everything. Balana has some, she was saying that, they started a procedure, but they wasn't able to complete it all the way. It was probably
Never
only
will.
couple of percent done, a procedure to done to, uh, reorientate her brain or whatever you want to call it. But uh Tuvok at the end, both her and Tuvok, and this leads to another episode on down where her and Tuvok started to, as Tuvok did with Kess, with not just meditation, but mind exercise, meditation and other stuff, Vulcan stuff and everything that he worked with Kess. He started working with Balana because Balana has some very fiery impulses and thought and everything else. And somehow I kind of saw that Tuvok never said it, but to me it was kind of somewhat implied to watch that with them traveling such a long distance and stuff, and they know not knowing what other species they encounter and seeing what happened on the Mari home world, you got to take into account that Balana's fiery impulses and thoughts could be considered a security risk in a sense that Tuvok need to like dealt with and stuff. And this is just this is my interpretation and stuff that he worked with her to try to better maintain her, fiery impulses and stuff and everything. And I thought that the episode random thought really shine a light on both Balana and Tuvok and stuff and everything when it comes to their violent thoughts and stuff that they have and stuff. But there was
And
another story or two about Balana that I thought was pretty that was pretty you know wide opening, wide eyes wide open and stuff and everything else. But also too, what about the episode? I'm opening this up to everybody, about Balana and stuff. Um, the Barge of the Dead.
mm, yeah,
If anybody
that
remember
that
that
one's
episode,
not. I mean, that one's definitely a strong episode that really finally delves deep. I think the deepest into her Klingon heritage, and it's like learn more about
And the
her
Klingon
mom
faith.
and Klingon faith. Yep.
and it was so it Balana wanted to try to recreate the accident that happened that she felt that
Oh dear, oh dear, dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Jim.
Yeah,
Jim,
saying yeah,
Jim, Jim, Jim,
Tom was
Jim.
definitely a bit of a trickster when it comes to stuff like that. And of course, whenever something crazy like that happened, Tom's the first one that they go to. Say, what did you do now, Tom?
Exactly. Tom is he's the biggest one of all. But in that particular episode, Balana, Balana, a lot of things changed for Balana. And if you guys remember, how much she was fighting with herself. not just stuff like it. Because we just talked about her fighting with herself, but like she wanted to try to recreate the accident that we put her into that state of people say you was just in a like you had a head injury, you were just concussion or whatever and stuff and everything, but like she really believed that she was at on a barge at a dam and
Dead.
whatever you
Yeah.
want to say stuff dead. And when she woke up and sat up and she looked around, she was just so like relieved and comforted. The first person she looked to was Janeway, and she gave her, without saying anything, the biggest hug. And it was like, that right there, it said a lot about her friend, her not only her friendship with Janeway, but like, her almost not mentor, but like, the state of their relationship was like Janeway allow her to take such a dangerous risk of doing something because of her faith and her Klingon heritage and stuff, that in the end, it seemed like it all worked out for the best. That was another big Balana story arc that I really liked the stuff and everything else. Now Tom is unique. When it comes to the Tom, and I know I've been doing a lot of talking, but let me get this one thing. It was so crafty of them in season 2 where Janeway, Tom, and Tuvok, hitched a plan to root out their spy,
Mm.
where Tom turned into a
A dick.
malcontent. Yes.
Basically, Tom being Tom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, because yeah,
Yeah.
because the early episodes, I mean, he had no love for Starfleet when he got sent to the New Zealand penal colony, but yeah, he was definitely exhibited a lot of Kirk's behaviors, just being a chauvinistic sex maniac, I guess you could say. And saying, of course, that really rubbed Neelix the wrong way because he thought that he was muscling in on his territory, taking Kess, which I mean they're early on, but
He
but it's
admit
good.
he kind of admitted to Neelix and stuff and everything else, and him
Yeah.
and Neelix they finally squashed their beef. Well, Neelix jealousy and Tom's like, okay, yeah, you got me, Neelix, and stuff, and said and they both come to respect one another after they were stranded on that one planet with the little baby alien and stuff that they adopted.
Mm,
But that particular episode where Tom left Voyager, yeah, it was investigations. It was investigation where Neelix, had his little he had his little morning show and stuff, his little thing that he was, providing news to the ship and stuff and everything. And it was so funny to watch Neelix do his investigation. And then did not know that Tom was actually part of a covert plan to root out, a spy on the ship that we all knew it was Michael Jonas
oh
who was
yeah,
giving out
yeah,
information and
oh
stuff to
yeah,
the
we all,
Klingon's.
yeah, it's just like yeah, we're the third party observers. We get to see everything, but
Oh yeah.
the fact that Tuvok and Janeway intentionally left Chakotay out of the loop in this plan.
Mhm.
And saying, and of course, uh, Tom kind of made light of it when he was doing that briefing with Neelix, which I think that was the first episode we got to see that, which we kept on seeing periodically throughout the rest of the series. But but yeah, the fact that Chakotay, he was a little pissed.
He felt like he was not eh, they
He was
couldn't
left out
trust
the
him
loop.
enough to go along.
He was left out the loop.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
him being the second in command.
He should
And
have known.
they went
He
behind
should
his
have known.
back and stuff. And him being a former Maquis too, I guess that really hit home. Like none of y'all trust me. Of course, Tom was part of the Maquis, but for just a short period of time and stuff. but he was pissed, but he got over it quickly when he knew what was at stake,
Well,
and he knew, what they needed, what exactly, when they read him into, their plan and stuff and everything else, knew exactly what was going on and stuff and everything else, because he's like, they needed to be believable. Chakotay, the whole thing with Tom being disrespectful to Chakotay and everything else and stuff, it needed to be so. It needed to be believable from, like, from a point of, no one knows why he's behaving like this and stuff. And I really like that, even though it was over several episodes and stuff and everything else, and it really was done well and stuff. But by the end, as you said, Dave, Tom had the utmost respect for Chakotay. You
now,
know.
makes you wonder if that when that happened, that Tuvok came up with the idea of creating that security program he made, which somebody thought everyone thought it was a hollow novel.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, worst case
Yeah,
scenario.
yeah, well,
Worst case scenario.
yeah.
Yeah, and,
Makes
you
you wonder
know,
if it was that before or after the he created that program.
Well, I think if memory serves with that episode, that Tuvok started making that training program pretty early on in their voyages
Right.
on the
yes.
ship, but when he started to see that the Maquis and the Starfleet personnel start to integrate and gel together, he's like,
No need for it.
this no need for it. I think we'll be okay. But he thought that he deleted it, but of course,
Seska.
Tom, well, Seska found it and was able to all make modifications to it before she left the
Mhm.
ship. But for Tom to actually find that program, that it wasn't completely purged out of the system, and it was an interesting little program. The same,
It was fun seeing all of them, play the Hollow program, and they thought it was just, something, but yet it actually turned out to be a training exercise and
mm,
stuff, and everybody wanted their input in it. And I like how everybody was wanting to throw their
Yeah,
own little scenario stuff and
little
everything
sneers
else
in it.
into. I was like, you know, I wrote the thing. I'm not gonna let any of you guys try to, like, because people want to know how it played out and stuff and everything else. And it was just one of the things, but it turned out, like you said, Seska got her hands on it before, and no one know and stuff, and it almost killed Tuvok and Pebbles. And,
Yeah, she also
and it was
rigged.
like,
She rigged the hologrid to overload if anything happens or something.
and
Then
yep, and explode if
will
they was
explode.
trying to force the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then too, they couldn't use the transporters.
What was
They
it?
couldn't use the
What did
transporters.
Balana say? Despite her lack of loyalty, she makes up with ingenuity.
Yes, yes. And,
she
that,
she
and
she
like
was she
the
was a Cardassian
Yeah,
through and
and
through.
you know what? That's another thing too, with showing the Tom story arc and stuff like that, because we all thought he was a hotshot pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said about Tom. I've got to say this because I saw this meme and it showed the first frame. It showed the Delta Flyer and Tom Paris, and Tom Paris. I built the Delta Flyer from scratch. And the next frame, it showed the Enterprise D. And the Forge says amateur.
I
I've seen
think
that.
I've
I've
seen
seen that.
that.
I've seen that
He said,
too.
I
I
built
have
it in my
seen that too.
spare time. That was it. And he said, that's for amateur.
And you know what? In the course too, watching Tom, if you guys remember, Tom rose to a rank of he was a full lieutenant. Both him and Balana basically were full lieutenants and stuff. But Tom ended up getting knocked down to an
To
ensign.
Ensign.
Do
30
y'all remember
days.
how? You remember that episode where he got knocked down to an ensign for about a year,
About a
less than
year,
a year?
yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Season.
We got it back before they did that Borg thing.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, yeah, Tom's. It was one of the things where I was kind of thinking about, like, he had a promising, you know, good career and stuff and everything else aboard the ship and stuff and everything. And these, like, when Starfleet, by the time when they get back to the Federation and Starfleet and
He
everything
made
else,
up
because
for it.
they're going to go over every bit of data and logs that everybody has provided and stuff and everything. And the incident that happened for 30, that happened in 30 days and stuff. That's going to
Didn't he
reflect
ever?
on your career.
Didn't he when they get now? This I'm just going through the thinking, trying to remember when they did get back to Earth. Did Tom become a test pilot at the end? I think he became a
You
test
know,
pilot, so he can stay
it,
close to Earth and be with his kids and family.
It's all beta canon, I believe.
Mm.
But yeah,
Could sworn he became a
what
test
Dave
pilot.
said. You know what? No one's really written what happened to them
It's
afterwards.
always
Like we
changing
see we
though.
see 7 and 9. What happened to her after they got home and stuff? But a lot of others. I mean, we've kind of seen Janeway a little bit because she got promoted to a vice admiral. But Chakotay, Torres, we know Tuvok became a captain. Kim, a lot of all of them characters and stuff like that. It's still they can the story arc for them and when they got home has not really been written and stuff and
Well, it's
everything.
always
And
keep changing. Though. That's the thing,
I
isn't it?
always
It's
thought
always
this.
changing.
I always thought this. When they got back home, B'Elanna was an exceptional engineer. She encountered technology that was, she would have made a good Starfleet professor at the academies. Chakotay, he studied anthropology, archaeology, stuff like that. He would have made a good professor at Starfleet Academy as well. They're teaching like they to me they had abilities knowledge from the Delta Quadrant to put them in a teaching position to me where they went on to teach, the experience in the Delta Quadrant and Tom Paris. I would say I wouldn't be surprised if a story arc where, like you said, Dave about Beta Cannon, about him going to be a teaching pilot. For younger generation, just like how we sing
Mm,
Sidney LaForge and stuff and everything else. Each one of these characters to me would have went on not to join another ship, but like went on to some sort of teaching role, in my opinion, at the academies.
I mean, with Tom Paris, he reminds me of the sort of person he's not happy unless he's behind the controls of a starship. I don't think he would see him spending too long planet side. If you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, in all good, well, not all good things, but in games, in the so-called in the future in games and stuff like that, he went on to be a
Novelist.
hollow novelist.
Yeah, I don't
You
see
know,
it. I don't see it.
uh,
Sorry, no, I
yeah.
don't see that at all. He, like I said before, he's the sort of person who would rather be behind the control of the starship than be on planet side. He will not. He'll be restless. He want to get back up there, like any good pilot would.
yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
A novelist, really? Excuse my French, but that is fucked up. That's
Yeah, yeah,
bullshit. There's
yeah,
no way he would be a novelist.
yeah. But when they finally came together, um, Balanas, so seeing how the writers are going to start in season 4.
Yeah, I think. Did you mean pilot there, Jim?
Hang on one moment.
Piglet. He corrected. Oh,
No,
we just lost someone. We
pilot.
did.
Yeah, say, yeah, Travis disappeared.
Yeah.
Well, he did warn me backstage that there's a nasty thunderstorm blowing through nearby, and there's a
So it's interfering with signal.
possibility that yeah he might lose power, and he just might have lost power. So let me text him really quick. And apologies everyone with me being on my phone tonight, saying Walmart decided to do our supply delivery at 6:30 tonight. So yeah, fuck.
By the way, and you probably haven't been too busy, but have you have you watched a few more episodes of Defiant?
Mm.
No.
No, see, with the stuff that been
I
going
didn't
on the
think you were,
past
but
week, and see, I've
you're a
been,
bit too busy with everything else. So it's no
yeah,
important. I just wondered if you have, that's all.
yeah, it's on my list. I mean, heck,
Hey, you
I
can
I,
also
I have
do
I haven't
you
even
can
been
all do a
able.
live review.
See, I've been been waiting for the new NCIS series Tony and Ziva to come up on Paramount
Oh, it's
Plus.
good. It's
I
good.
have I
I've
haven't gotten
seen
to
it.
watch that yet.
I love it. I only watched 3 episodes so far,
Well,
but it's from what I've seen, so it's brilliant. And I'm a big fan of Tony and Ziva.
Oh, me too. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, I want to watch it.
Uh, I don't like the new NCIS sort of things. I'm more OG.
Yeah.
And when Tony disappeared, that was it. Nah, I've lost interest. Like, it was Tony and Ziva that sort of kept me into. But when they did the spin off, that was couldn't wait, could not wait. Give me more Tony and Ziva.
Yeah, but yeah, he's just said his mom came in the room and he accidentally hit the wrong button. So I
Ooh,
think we got him back.
here he is.
sorry about that. Technical difficulties, stuff like that. Sorry.
Oh, it's just like, yeah, say Jim can't type, you can't stream. So we got the trifecta going.
But
But
no, like, sorry guys, sorry to all our viewers and everything else. I've dropped and everything, but I'm back. I'm back. Um, no, what I was saying though was, you know, seeing Tom and Balana in early part of season 4, where you can start seeing where the writers was, going with this about their, getting together. I said, you know what? I'm not much of a romantic person or anything like that, but I was curious to see just how far, they's gonna, where this direction was gonna go. And I was very curious, and I was like, let's see. Let's see, what this could possibly be and stuff like that. And to my surprise, it really worked out.
hmm. But when it comes to the relationship, especially like talking about Endgame, is saying at the beginning of the episode, say Balana saying it's time. Saying when she's like feeling like she's going to give birth, and Tom's like, "Time for what?" He's like, "I'll give you 3 guesses." And I said, "That is total like married couple behavior right there." And he's like, "Ah," and he runs out without her.
I like the bit when he goes, all right, we should go. He goes, just gets to the door. As it opens, says, he looks, maybe I should
Yeah.
put some clothes on.
Well, no. He's talking to the doctor on on the comm badge, and they say go get the sick bay, and he says, "Should I bring Balana?"
Bring
He's like,
Balana,
"Got
yeah.
you."
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
One thing too about Tom that I really enjoy is Tom's affinity for the 21st century.
Or the
He,
20th century automobiles.
the 20th century. How he had affinity for the 20th century, where
Mustang TV,
not only was
cartoons,
it
cinema.
Captain Proton,
Mm.
he like what was that? He
It was the old
basically was
cartoons.
repairing a Camaro on the holodeck, like a grease bucky, and then in the episode, um, oh shoot,
It's a
can't
cinema.
remember, but
It's gun movies.
uh,
The old style
the
cinema.
Right.
37. And you guys remember the 37?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
See
truck.
how that thing could turn over after being out in space for centuries. I mean
Said all the fruits in there would have been frozen solid.
oh, they've
Would have
been
been frozen solid.
absolute sludge.
I mean, come on, the truck would be exposed to the environment of space, and we know how space.
Back in like
We know what
freezing
the
temperatures.
space environment
Yeah.
is like. But Tom, he understood, the clutch, the gas pedal, the key, stuff like that. I was like, what? I thought that was pretty. That was a pretty interesting, little thing where it's like Tom has an experience with, older
I,
style, Earth
I
vehicles
did
and
like
stuff. That's
I did like the Cat and Proton episodes. I must admit, I did like them. Bride of Chaotica. Bride of Chaotica was brilliant.
Well, funny you
you
mention
know,
that. That's going to be what we're going to talk about next
Hello.
week.
yes, the Bride
Yes.
of Chaotica.
Yes.
And I like how they filmed it in black and white too. Well, they filmed it
That's what I
black and white,
loved
but they,
about it. That's what I loved about that episode. It could have been its own show, Star Trek Captain Proton.
it was funny to how to see because it was interesting to see how they, how he said that they are how in the early part of the 20th century they thought that the future of space was going to be like space travel and all the technology stuff like that. It was pretty interesting. So I'm like, what, they really, I mean, of course, I mean, it was in the 90s and stuff, but like, you look back now versus how people thought in the 40s and 50s, how space travel is going to be and everything stuff
Well,
like that. You'd be like, oh man,
think
some of
about it.
the ideas
Think
was
about
kind of
it. I mean,
cornball.
think about the original TOS. A lot of technology out there we have now, like the flip communicator, which replace our mobile phones. View screens. So pretty. Let's be honest, they weren't far off, apart from the
Yeah.
warp
Well,
drive and the teleportation. But certainly, replicators. Well, okay, we got 3D printers that can print out everything, some things that we need, or tools or parts. Maybe if a spare hand or something. You know what I mean? Bloody,
Yep,
I've
yep,
actually
yep, yep.
seen a replicated creating food bars. So a 3D printer, something like that, creating food bars.
yeah.
So which is going to be going being used in NASA. So not far
Also,
off.
too, one thing too that I really enjoy, especially in season 3 of Star Trek Voyager, is when was that Captain Braxton came back and he basically he was going to destroy Voyager,
Voyager,
but Futures End, the episode, there's two-parter episode, Futures End, where they went back to 1996. Yes,
what's that?
yes, Phil. Yes.
The
And-
earbuds that translate and talking.
oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You'd be surprised. And you know what, Steve Jobs, from what I understand, Steve Jobs wanted to bring, literally touchscreen technology to life. And Star Trek, basically, I'm not sure if it was the first show to see it because I remember there was a TV, not TV, but there was a movie that Disney had in 1983 or 84. It was called Tron,
Hmm.
and Tron used, they had like little touch on their tables and stuff and everything else. But needless to say, touch screen, touch window, stuff like that, the L cars and stuff and everything else is practically it's practically a thing that happened now, but we've seen it in TNG started out. And Michael Kuda basically found Jim Roddenberry told Michael Kuda it needed something than switches and buttons and stuff and everything else to seem almost 24th century type stuff, something simple and everything else and everything. But like I was saying about Futures End, when they went back to 1996 or
Yeah.
1997. At that time, it was so interesting to watch them in Los Angeles and wearing, the clothing period at that time and stuff and everything else. And I know Tuvok, he when they was talking at the end when they went back to the 24th century stuff, where he said that Tuvok tried to convince the meter maid not
Yeah.
to give him a citation or something. It was so funny. I I thought that little story that Tom was telling that story about, and it was like, okay, this is cool. He saw how he was, he was acting when he was in LA. He took off his shirt and was like, getting some sun and stuff and everything else, and
The wrist
try to convince
discomfort.
Tuvok. It was really it was Tom Paris. You could tell that was Tom Paris being Tom Paris in a sense of just relaxing and stuff, even though they had a mission and stuff and everything else. But I like how he interacted with Rain Robinson too,
He was
and
in his
how
element there, wasn't he? He was in his
they
element, Tom.
they rigged up a cell phone at that time to communicate with Voyager. Didn't
Yeah.
it was a flip phone. They rigged up a flip phone to communicate with Voyager. Silverman. Yes, it was Sarah Silverman. She said, "I see that little thing in your pocket." Oh, I like that episode. I really enjoyed that. That's one of my top favorite episodes of Voyagers and stuff and everything else because it set them in the period too, especially in Santa Monica. It's Santa Monica Pier. They filmed at the real Santa Monica Pier and the Griffin Observatory, which is still standing, both the Santa Monica Pier and the Griffin Observatory and stuff. And I like the guy that their villain, what's it, Henry Sterling.
Mhm.
Henry Sterling and stuff, Chrono Works and stuff, and it was really neat to see, them interact with, someone who was an industrialist at that time, 20th century industrialist who basically was a capitalist and stuff and everything. And it was like Janeway threatened to vaporize the building
Mhm.
and stuff and everything. I was like, oh man, she's really going all at it and
Like,
everything
well,
else.
the good news about that is that the dark god is hollow emitter.
That's right. It
God is
was
hollow
a
emitter.
the doctor got his hollow emitter and stuff and everything. That
Mhm.
was a little fun episode too to watch. Well, it started out with Tom, but then Chakotay and Taurus end up crash landing in Arizona, and, they happen to crash land, and somebody turned out to be a what you call what do you call them, Dave? Somebody. eh,
Any other government types around here?
Yeah. They
Anti-government,
were fearful of the
anti-government.
government and stuff and everything else. I'm not sure there's a word that you could call the people who was fearful of the government
Oh
come
god.
taking away and stuff and everything. But they saw Balana and so one of them looked at her and was like, "What's that
They were
on her
kind of militia,
forehead?"
weren't they? They were some kind of
A
militia.
militia,
Yeah.
militia, like a
Yeah.
type of militia type and stuff and everything. But yeah, it was so funny to watch her and Chakotay talk about if they didn't get back home, what could they be? They would have to get jobs. What could the jobs that they could get and stuff? He said, I think one of my ancestors was a school teacher. Doomsday cult. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. I'm glad you're here. A doomsday cultist. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It was
Right,
so
guys,
funny.
I'm gonna have to drop out now. It's getting really late. I need to try and get some sleep. My ankle's
Okay.
starting to play me up now, so it's time for me to go. Oh, but yeah, by swinging my ankle, I've actually got a date for my surgery next month.
Oh,
So I get surgery
yay.
Oh wow. Okay. Yay.
finally. So a bit of luck. This should take because this is my second one. First one didn't take. They said if the second one didn't take and it gets worse, I could end up
Oh,
losing it.
oh
So
man.
fingers crossed,
Yeah.
guys.
We keep your
You know
finger. We'll keep our
it'll
fingers
work.
crossed.
But that's next month on the 15th of October. So
Oh,
yeah.
yay. I think that's
So,
my
so
sister's anniversary or something like that.
nice to see you, Six. Have a great. Okay,
No,
thank
no,
you
no.
very
I
much.
think no. Oh,
All
later,
right, take care.
Sixer.
Well,
Bye bye.
peace and long life, Sixer.
Hopefully,
Well,
Phil
guys.
will pop in.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm glad you're here, Phil. I've seen
Mm.
that you have broadcast. I mean, you have went live a couple of times late on Saturday. I wanted to join you, but I was always passed out, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I seen your show after you posted and stuff. I was like, I was so passed out because I had to work on Saturdays. But you know, I'm glad you're here for now. But I'm so glad we're talking about Tom and Balon and stuff because we watch as we saying watching their story arc from both of their journeys separately until when they started showing interest in each other. It was Paris who started to pursue Balana because Balana didn't seem like she was more into she wasn't interested in him. Only
Mhm.
when he started to pursue her when she realized, yeah, this trip may be a little long, and you know, I don't know how many people went on their holiday because they only had 2 holodecks on the ship. And who was in charge of holodeck waste extraction or biohazard? What do you want to call it? Stuff like that. I'm not sure if a lot of people were hooking up on the ship or if they was going into the holodeck hooking up with holodeck characters,
Mm.
and stuff and getting their jollies off, in the holodecks and stuff. But I don't know if that could get repetitive and get bored and stuff and everything because it's not a real, a real flesh and blood person.
Exactly. You
But
gotta wonder where that stuff goes if the guy's goo.
once you turn off, once you basically turn off the holodeck simulation and stuff, it's like, uh, could we activate, a black light in here?
Oh, my Lanta.
But showing Balana and Tom together, throughout the entire, from season 4 all the way to the end of the series and stuff like that, it really made more of what we know of Voyager, and it showed that two people who from different cultures and different backgrounds and stuff and everything else, and
I'm sorry.
Balana just kind of, she struggled with a lot of things. It turned out to be, worked in her favor and stuff, you know. And even though they ran into that Klingon ship, you remember that?
Oh,
That
yes.
was that at a D7?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that was another thing when they ran into that D7 uh Klingon
Battle
cruiser.
cruiser. Yeah,
It
same
really
kind
showed
of
another thing about her. Yeah. But if anybody's watching us live, please give us a like and subscribe. And don't forget, you can join us and talk to us while we're live. Spots are open. We enjoy everybody's inputs, even their, disagreements, criticisms. We we enjoy any and everybody's thoughts, concerns, opinions.
absolutely. Yeah, same, but yeah, it's come on, brain, formulate your thought there. It's been a long day. Even though I didn't do much of anything, didn't get half the stuff I wanted to get accomplished done, but it is what it is.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
oh
But
yeah, yeah, hit that bell too. And then you get a notification when we're live.
absolutely. Thank you, Phil. And I hope everything's going good your way, Phil. And all those in chat. I see Jim.
Oh, I heard a
uh,
pip. I heard a pop.
oh, I did too.
I
Oh, I heard a
there we
heard a pop. Oh, I did too.
go.
It's Phil.
Sure. There we
Hello.
go.
Love your
I
hair.
made it.
Yeah, someone got a haircut.
I did. Yeah, finally. I'm way overdue. This should have been done a long time ago, but
Yeah, see, I'm starting to
Ask
get
this
due
question.
again already.
Did you go to see the Enterprise barber, Mr. Mott?
no. Why is there somebody like that in Burlington?
Mr. Mott from the Enterprise D from TNG. He was the ship's barber.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yeah. No, unfortunately we didn't. No, I just went to like a magic cut and paid way too much. But good night, Jim. Sorry I'm in late.
And
I got dinner and I had to clean up
see
and I was
us.
listening to you and I thought this is I missed huge chunks of Voyager and I felt like I just didn't know a whole lot about this. And I thought I kind of can't really chime in with much. So I just thought, oh, I just listen for now. Maybe I'll come in at the end for a little bit. So
Well, the Day of Honor, I think that's a good episode when that just pretty much consummated their relationship. And say where it's the Day of Honor for in Klingon culture, everything's going wrong. Saying the bad guys they put some sort of virus in the warp core and it gets dumped, and Tom and B'Elanna go after it in a shuttle, and the bad guys shot him up, blew up the shuttle, took off with the warp core, and here they are just floating in space, just waiting for their oxygen to run out.
They were trying to open up a transwarp. You remember they trying to open up a board transwarp.
That's
Uh,
right.
but they didn't encounter they encounter anti protons or something,
Anti-protons.
and they did not know, and it feedbacked into the warp core. And if they didn't dump the core, it would have blown up and stuff and everything. The Katati, it was the Katati, if I'm not mistaken, the Katati that they encounter, and they was basically their species was assimilated by the Borg, and it was one of Seven and Nine's earlier days.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
you
And
know, at the beginning.
they wanted more from Voyager, and Voyager wouldn't give it because they needed it for themselves. But then when they dumped their warp core, they were vultures, scavengers.
They had something to negotiate with Voyager with. They
Yeah,
basically held their warp core hostage and then wanted to negotiate it with Voyager.
which
Yeah,
is not cool. But
especially
but
what they try to do for them. Is anybody
yeah,
there?
yeah, well still here. My brain, like I said, just formulating thoughts and ideas, and yeah,
Okay,
just
okay. So, Phil, since you
mhm,
came in at this, at a later junction of our show and stuff and everything, and you say you just want to hear and stuff and everything, let us hear your individual thoughts about, if you can remember, about Tom and Belana Torres, and what did you remember of their character story arcs?
It's been a while. I caught little bits sporadically. I just know that I don't think it. Correct me if I'm wrong. It didn't really connect until season 3.
Mhm.
But I do remember thinking that they probably had this as long as the series continued. I think they had that in mind from the start. I got the impression that they were setting some things up for them because they kind of butted heads at the beginning, if I'm not
a
mistaken.
lot.
A lot, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
but Bolano was button heads with
And,
everybody else,
and there was a
so
few times where I'm like, oh, they like each other. It's like, yeah, they're arguing, but no, they're going to go somewhere with this. And sure enough, later on, it did. From that point, I got bits and pieces until when was the last episode aired?
99, 2000, no,
2001.
2001.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it went from 2005 because I remember, um, yeah, because I still was hit and miss because I thinking back, it was when I moved and who I was staying with at the time, and because the roommate that I had was a big Star Trek fan, but I was always either working or I was away or something was always happening the night that it was on. He was watching it, and but I remember going, oh, she's pregnant. Wow, okay, so I missed something in there where I guess they did officially get married, did they not? Or
Yeah.
It-
The episode
okay.
drive, I think, see episode 2 of season 7.
Yeah, and then I
yes.
believe she gives birth, I think, in the final episode when they go home.
Yep.
So I thought,
And
yeah, they really planned. I thought what was interesting when I watched, I thought, wow, they really did plan an arc for those two. I think they really knew from the beginning. Maybe they might not necessarily saw it through to her giving birth. Maybe they did. I don't know, but it definitely felt like, even though I missed chunks, it definitely seemed to have this beginning, middle, end. Like you could see it was a very distinct arc, which I thought was really cool actually, because I don't know if any other Trek Star Trek show done that with two characters. I don't know, other than maybe kind of, I
Well,
guess, Riker and Troy, but that was
well, they're trying to
all
get
over the
Worf
place.
and Troy going,
I remember that. That never worked for me. I thought,
and then
no.
Deep Space Nine.
with Dax and Bashir.
Oh,
Well,
right.
that was one. But then when Worf came aboard, because
Worf and
the idea
Dax.
was she was
Right.
fascinated with Klingons.
But
She,
I don't
she
know if it ever continued the full long arc the way it did with Voyager. Like that one took it was the entire show, like practically to get that full arc.
it really, like you said, it started with them button heads in the first
Yeah.
couple of seasons, and then when season four, because they when Cass left the ship, season
Mm,
four was just ramping up, and as Dave just pointed
right.
out about um was at the Day of Honor. That's
Mhm.
when you saw Tom was starting to pursue Balana and stuff and everything. So you could
Right.
say season four on to season 4, season 5, season 6, season 7. So you look at that from most of the season, the series that they did have that kind of connection and story arc that we saw them, you know, over the course of, the last 4 years or so. And I thought
Right.
it was, like I said, I thought I liked it. But did anybody remember the particular episode 2 with Balana in season 5? Nothing Human, when
Mm.
she got attacked by that creature that was sucking the life out of her, and the doctor couldn't figure out how to get it off of her, and the computer basically called up an expert that they had on file who was like another like hologram or whatever and stuff. Was
Rail
talk
Mosec.
about this. Cardassian Krell Moset was an exobiologist, studying creatures and stuff and everything else. And Bellotta basically was like, I don't want that Cardassian anywhere near me. You can let me
Yeah.
die. Tom
I
was
feel
like,
like I did see
hell
that.
no.
I feel like that was one I saw, but man, it's just as you're talking, like bits of it's coming to my mind. But man, I feel like I did see that because I remember her flipping out. Yeah,
Her at the end, her and Janeway come to check on it. Janeway, well, the
yeah,
doctor basically said, look, the patient's wishes is hers. She's conscious, she know and stuff like that.
right.
Regardless, she told like, and she told Tom and everybody, because everybody was looking, look, should we kill the creature to save Alana?
Mm,
And the doctor didn't want to kill the creature because it was a sentient life form, but the way it was latched onto her and stuff like that, he couldn't. So they were looking at, they were trying to like look for a medical way, a legal way, and like a moral and ethical way and stuff to keep this creature alive and whatnot and stuff. And they were going back and forth with respecting the patient's wishes, respecting
mm,
Balana's wishes, because Balana said that she didn't want any research that this Cardassian exobiologist, have information, because he experimented on Bajorans. He was basically what we would call Dr. Joseph Mangala for us and stuff. And this guy was the Bajorans hated this guy to a
mm,
passion, and Balana did not like him either. Well, Balana basically chose to not allow the procedure to be done to her because it would dishonor all those that came and died from the research and stuff. Well, the Captain Janeway made the ultimate decision, and because she was like, I am not going to lose her. We can fight about this later and stuff like that. But yet, because the Voyager was under attack by that creature's species or something, and they needed to get that creature off of Balana and beam it to one of their ships and stuff and everything else. So Janeway made the captain's decision to proceed with the way to get the creature off of it without killing it and stuff and everything else,
right.
to save Balana's life. And need to say everything worked out in the end. But when Balana was recovering in her quarters, Janeway comes to check on her. Her and Balana had some exchange of words. Balana had some very hard feelings for Captain Janeway.
Mm,
And, Balana basically told her, you had no right to do what you
yeah,
did.
yeah.
And the captain basically, she understood, but she stood her ground. She basically said, she's the captain of the ship. Her first duty is to all those under her command. The safety and their life was all their life is put in Janeway's hand. And if she has the power to save your life, she is going to save your life.
Mm,
Almost regardless of, we heard about the prime directive and stuff and
yeah.
everything. You know, but that was a really good episode too, because it showed how Balana continuously throughout the series butted heads, especially with Janeway. They respected each other, but there are times that they had come across where Balana Balana showed some very very strong emotions when it came to Janeway's decision and stuff. Zach, welcome.
Is he
How
there?
are you
Oh,
doing?
there
Welcome,
he is. How you doing?
welcome everybody.
Welcome.
Well,
Welcome to the conclusion of the show ish. We're getting kind of at that 90-minute mark.
Tom and Bilana, huh?
BLT.
Yes. Well, let's hear as we talk about who we has to feel and everything else. Let's hear your thoughts about both Tom Paris and Belana Torres' story arc in their love connection that they had.
I'm not a big fan of Voyager, so
Bleh.
yeah. Not my favorite cup of tea. I will say just a small snippet. Since you're gonna be concluding soon. It's much needed. I think that goes. I mean, that goes in with every single Star Trek series. In all honesty, there has to be some sort of relationship cycle. I mean, without it, you don't get to see the humanity. So I guess the part with Tom and Bilana, it's all about showcasing that humanity that people tend to not realize Star Trek has always been about, to show the humanity within the psychology of and the emotions, etc., and to fulfill that niche with that love connection. Um, that's basically it, man. It's just proving the humanity, proving why humanity is so special.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
French, relationships in a sense, because that was a romantic relationship, but they all had relationships of different forms, relationships of friendships, relationships, or
Yep.
what's that? Harry and Tom bromance. They kind of
Mhm.
had, they had a
Yeah.
bromance with each other.
Yeah.
Uh,
In DS9 had Julian and O'Brien.
Julie and O'Brien. Yep. Yep. And you could even say Odo and Quark in
Yeah.
DS9. Eventually,
oh
they became
yes, oh
Absolutely.
yes.
enemies.
Julian and Garrick.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Another
I
one.
mean, I mean, Garrick basically wanted to boink uh, Julian in the early parts of DS9 and stuff. I mean, you could just tell just the way he, grabbed him, touched him, the way he talked to him and stuff and everything else. It was like, yeah,
Hmm.
you know what? He got some affinities for the young, chief medical officer of Deep Space Nine.
Kirk, Spock, and Bones. If you want to go back to the original, I mean, I think Star Trek. That's kind of what was their base, if you will, is to have those
Mm.
develop those relationships over the series. And I
Yeah.
think when the original series started and that formed between Kirk and Spock, and even with Bones in there, the three of them with the banter,
Hmm.
they knew that was kind of what clicked with fans of the show. And so they knew that was somehow going to have to be developed. When they did
Yeah.
Next Generation, they knew they
Oh
needed
yeah.
strong characters and good writing to eventually build those in the course of the series. And that's what's made, I think, a good Star Trek series, is when you have
Hmm.
really good characters and good stories where you can put them in situations where they can form a bond. And that's
And
Yeah,
then yeah, and then you
the
have
re-
like love relationships too. I
Mhm.
mean, to divert from the friendship. I mean, you see in like Next Gen, you see Troy and Riker moving into their relationship. You even
Right.
see the tease of Beverly and Jean Luc.
Or
Yes,
That's
yeah,
somewhat of a tease, but
yeah.
I mean DS9. I mean, you have Jadzia and Worf.
mhm.
Mm.
So I mean,
Zach, you mentioned
and
about the love relationship and stuff.
yeah, a
There's a type of
romantic.
love too. Well, the romantic relationship, because there is a love relationship too that characters have that is not like the like romantic, but they love each other.
Yeah.
You could tell the love. I mean, I said the bromance a short time ago,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
um,
Julian and O'Brien. You could tell they loved each other. They were like brothers,
well,
man.
in Voyager, Janeway and Tuvok, and
Mm.
then
Ooh,
later
yeah,
on,
Oh, yeah,
Janeway and
yeah.
Chakotay.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I actually think the Janeway Chakotay relationship, that bond right there was perfect actually. The way that they were able to mesh later on in the series.
In the Voyager episode in season 7, uh Workforce, it was a two-parter. It was called Workforce. And at the end where they, basically got the crew back and everything else and stuff, she told Chakotay, if you didn't come for me, I basically would have just stayed on that planet. She basically thanked him for, in a sense, she was like, she was absolutely gratitude for him coming for her. Personally, he came for everybody, but like coming to help to save her, she thought that she would have just stayed on the planet, not knowing that she had another life and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Been listening, love Voyager, but Biolana Torres was always my last character to like. I agree, actually.
Yeah. So
Her
yeah,
character arc. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
Oh no, yeah, like I was saying earlier in the show, just like yeah, she was hot-headed in the early episodes. So I mean,
Hmm.
she didn't want anybody to like her. She wanted to do things her way. But yeah,
Hmm.
Dennis is just like it took almost it took about fourth or fifth season. That's when it really started to mesh for her. Then being pregnant and all that, and
Yeah. Well, it's kind of similar because they kind of reflected the same thing between like Bilana, in my opinion, into Enterprise. Uh, what is her name? T'Pol.
mm,
Yeah, they kind of have that same. Yeah, now I mean, I T'Pol is a Vulcan, so you kind of already have that standoffishness, anyways, because of the logic zeal.
Falcons.
But but I mean, the reflection between B'Elanna from Voyager and then when they go into Enterprise, I know it's a prequel, but it's after Voyager, and I think they kept that chemistry going with that pattern of how they wanted to design certain characters and how they wanted to elevate them, and that's what they did with Torres, and that's what they ended up doing with DePaul as well, because she was pretty slow to get to know as well. It's like,
mm.
Very.
do I really care? And then all of a sudden she starts opening up, especially with I always keep forget the cowboy. What's it? I forget.
Rip.
Trip.
Tucker
Trip.
the
I always
third.
keep. Yeah.
He said the
So
cowboy.
the cowboy.
I
Well,
like that.
Yeah,
he was from Texas.
he's a Southern boy. Yep.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
Colin
So
Trenier was born in Washington State.
probably. I think he
I,
was actually,
I
but
thought he was born in the Washington State, if I'm mistaken, Dave. But what you were
it was
saying, what
a
you're saying about but Balana and stuff, and I'm glad Dennis brought that up too, and stuff, because like a lot of people didn't like the
Wally,
Neelix, huh?
Walla
I
Walla,
love it.
just down the street from where I grew up.
I figured, I knew he grew up. He was from Washington State and stuff, but
I I didn't know. And he actually went to PLU just down the road from where I lived for a couple of years out in Parkland, Tacoma.
oh wow,
Interesting.
And he played
That's
football
a
there.
that's a hell of a Southern accent, then.
Mhm. But he spent many wow, and he went to Kelso High School over in the west part of the state. I did not know that about him. Wow, learn something new.
Every day, man.
Mhm.
okay, Dennis.
So what did Dennis say? I was looking at Turnier's IMDb profile. Games and fundraiser. Oh yeah, yeah. The fundraiser for the documentary. I'm guessing you're referring to.
Yeah,
Yeah, the crowdfunding. I wanted to jump in on that, but seeing we'll see if I can grab it here.
But I mean, I know a lot like Phil said, it's been a
Mm-hmm.
long while since he's seen like Voyager. There's a lot that he forgotten about, or he don't know about and stuff and everything. And I'm sure there's
Smith.
people in the audience and stuff about Voyager, about the dynamic between Tom and Balana and their story arc, because at first we saw both of them, how they how they portrayed in season 1 and in season 2. you know how their story, the what where the direction that the writers were wanting to take them. It was fascinating, like Zach said, about like they developed that not only friendship with one another, but they started to, in season 4, Dave pointed out too, in the Day of Honor, affinity for one another and stuff. And Tom wanted to help Balana. He just saw he wanted to like do something nice for Balana. And Balana just kind of, there was another part of her rejecting her Klingon heritage and stuff and everything. And she just felt like, what was that saying called, Murphy's Law?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that can go wrong
Will go
will go
wrong.
wrong.
You're wrong. Yep.
Yeah, and she just felt like the universe is just toying with her and treating her in such a way that she just wanted to be very reclusive and stuff and everything. But Tom, Tom didn't. Tom basically was trying to pull her out of her shell. Not only he was looking at her in a different way, but he was trying to like, look, you're being very reclusive in the self, and it's not good to be alone, because she wanted to be alone. And she didn't want nothing to do with like anything for a good while and stuff. And he basically like, look, I'm not pushing you or anything, but like, you're not alone in this world. Or not alone on the ship, I should say.
Hmm. But yeah, talking about like crowdfunding, I just came of was it? I did get pissed off. Yeah, it
I
could.
mean,
Yeah,
another thing you could also apply, other than Murphy's Law, is Occam's razor.
elaborate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Basically, trying to find certain solutions from the smallest possible set of details, essentially. And that's just Star Trek to a T, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
In
Oh yeah.
everything,
Oh
from the relationships to the cumfuckery that they get themselves into. So, I mean,
yeah. Absolutely.
they seem to. It also, I mean, I'm talking. I've been discussing a lot lately about the Basilisk effect, and really, I mean, Star Trek to a T, with everything, all the shenanigans they get into, like they the Basilisk effect kind of described a little bit in Star Trek. For you think you're doing something that's for a positive manner. You're doing something good for, say, the planetary system, and then it goes to hell from right there, and you got to figure out a way to fix it before it eats you,
Yeah.
before the basilisk basically gobbles you up. Don't recall the episode.
yeah.
Hmm.
This one.
Episode with the dementia.
Oh.
Hmm.
Hold on. Uh,
Yeah, I have to Google search. That's another one that kind of clicks in my mind. Seems I've seen that or part of that.
Shattered. Season 7.
Shatter. Shatter.
Yeah, season 7, episode 10.
Yep. Season 7, episode
Saturn?
10. Shatter.
Either
And
that was either it's
when
Well,
something happened
episode
in the
11.
end, something happened in the engine room and put Chakotay in a state of quantum flux, and he just kept on hopping into different eras of
Different, time
uh
zones of the ship.
yeah, like before
Basil.
Voyager went
That's
to
a
the back.
basilic effect.
Mm.
Yeah, that episode right there is basilic effect to a T.
Yeah, it was a great way of
I gotta
bringing
watch.
Seska back again, but
Mm.
Yeah, they bought Seska back.
Mm.
Yeah, it
but
seemed kind of lazy writing.
yeah, you were talking about crowdfunding, but there's this one campaign that I'm seriously considering on doing, and the fact that I found out that you don't have to pay it all up front. They do like 4 monthly payments. When
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
it's got
Yes.
it's got a super pursuit mode, so it all pops out and stuff. It's got fucking William Daniels' voice on it. It's got it's got lights that light up. I mean, if you go to Tommy's website or their Facebook or stuff, there's a great video of it. I'm just like, oh my god! It's like I want it, but hopefully I can afford it before it goes out. But it's like, hey, we actually do monthly payments. I'm like,
You just want the car.
He's excited for
oh
it.
god, yeah. I'm saying if
You
by
just
the
want
by
Kit.
the oh, I grew up with Knight Rider. I was a little
Oh,
my
I
some of
do
my
too. I love
earliest
Nightmare.
I did too.
one of my earliest childhood memories is and I was running around the playground at grade school pretending I was Michael Knight driving Kit, especially on days where I was wearing my Knight Rider T-shirt. It was powder blue with Kit. It was a glitter print of Kit jumping in the air with a big ass rainbow behind him. I was just like, and I turned out gay.
Oh, I
I
got you
did the
beat.
hey.
I got you beat. Me and my brother, we grew up in the 80s and we had big wheels that were the Knight Rider big wheels. And we
Oh,
used to
nice.
we used to race those big wheels.
Hey, I got you both beat. I used to go out, jump on my bike, and act like the bike was the white tiger, baby, and I was the white ranger.
But
I even had the
all,
sword too, so I'd act like I had to put it into the ignition. I forget what the saber.
but also early 80s, that's when the TV show Chips was on the air, and my best friend Chris, God rest his soul,
Mm,
saying he and I
uh,
would play Chips. I would be he would be Ponch because he was Native American, and then I was Larry, so I was
Blonde.
the blonde guy, so it makes sense. But I even made our own little badges and everything, and they looked like an 8-year-old wrote them because yeah, my handwriting sucked when I was 8 years old. But
so
yeah,
many,
We all did.
so many good police procedural style shows, and you picked Chips. Sad, Dave.
California Highway Patrol.
It was a fun show.
Bam, ba-dum, bam,
Wait,
You-
what was that?
you-
What was that? What Smooth Shatner was in? T.J. Hooker.
TJ
with
Hooker,
TJ
yep.
Hooker,
Yeah.
yeah. Terrible.
Grandmother
Terrible.
watched that.
I think I watched a
Adam.
handful of those, but
Another good one is Adam 12. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. I'm like the oldest one in the room, but it's funny that you guys know all these shows because they go way back. Emergency, Adam 12, and all that. I still remember watching the premiere of Knight Rider, the first episode. And you're talking about that. And I remember sitting, I was at my grandmother's, and it's one of those where I'm kind of watching it, and everybody's talking in the background, but slowly, one by one, they start watching it. Next thing you know, everybody was watching it. Yes, really
I'm
stop
with you.
the reboots.
I'm with you.
Yeah, we kind of need some. I've been saying that for a while.
I'm with
We
Dennis.
need some original stuff.
Same. Yeah.
I mean, we loved them at the time because they were original stuff. That's why we liked. You can't.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
you
because
didn't
yeah,
try
you're
to tell
talking.
me all
I
this.
will.
There is
I
talk
will say
about.
one. Oh,
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna. I will say there is one decent reboot in my opinion. I did like the MacGyver reboot.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
Was
It
it
was
good?
pretty good. Yeah.
I know a lot of
Yeah,
people like the new Battlestar Galactica. I never did watch it, but I heard it was people pushed me to watch it for ages, and I kind of resisted it for a while. I never did watch it, but
Mm.
I heard it was supposed to be really good. But oh, all right, Battlestar Galactica reboot. Oh, there we
see,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, no
Travis and I
question.
were fighting over who's putting Dennis's
Which
comment on the
Battlestar
screen there.
Galactica, like the
I was gonna say
1970
yeah.
or the 2000s one.
Sometimes you just need to let a good thing just die.
Just go, yeah.
You know what? Look, I can't. I was a teenager in the '90s, and I watched all the X Files all the way up to from season 1 to season 9
Mhm.
or season 10, whatever stuff like that. And now I hear Ryan Coogler, because Ryan Coogler is a big fan
Mm.
of the X Files. Is apparently they're gonna, I don't know if they're gonna do a reboot or they're gonna do something
A
continuation or
continuation.
something like that. And I'm like, I don't know. I
No.
do not. I
No,
If
do not
you've got
know.
the only thing what I'll
Please.
accept is if you've got the same team, the same actors playing the same parts, you've got the same writers coming back, and then as you're sort of continuing off of what you did prior, I can deal with that. I can accept it because it feels like
I
you're
can
just
get that.
continuing the series.
I
They-
can get that.
Right.
They
I
did
don't
try
like
that.
this.
They tried that though with X Files. They brought it back for that horrendous season 10 miniseries, and then they brought it back for
Oh, I
like
never
what
did see
season
that.
11, and the 10 was okay. They actually did put certain pieces together, but it wasn't. They waited too long. Let's just put it
Yeah.
that way.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I think they decided to bring it back for a season 11. Garbage. It's like you just ruined my
Yeah,
childhood.
since I remember they tried
would-
that and it didn't go over. Yeah.
I will say, I mean, Scully was still hot for her age.
Was it?
But no, Dennis, I don't. Dennis, you mentioned earlier that a Stargate reboot. I think I heard there's a continuation, which is slightly different than a reboot, because I mean, yeah, it's going to go base off of previous series, but it's going to be its own entity in of itself. So
Hmm,
yeah,
maybe.
but then again, they
That could work.
rebooted rebooted Richard Dean Anderson's MacGyver. So maybe as they bring in somebody new for O'Neill, I don't know.
I mean, it
Stargate's
could
could be a little
work,
more
but
difficult.
it could. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It'd be a lot difficult. But
You know, I didn't really get into Stargate until probably the 5th or 6th season. And then
Mm.
I was like, oh my goodness, I really like the show and stuff. And from there they had Stargate Atlantis, which I really enjoy.
really good.
That was
Stargate,
good, yeah.
the other Stargate universe, Stargate universe, or whatever they
Mm,
would call stuff like that. It was like it was only for 2
I was
seasons and stuff, and it
I
was
was enjoying that one actually myself. We were some friends and I were watching that one. That was one that lasted once. It had the Scottish guy on it. I can't think of his name, but only went 1 or 2
oh,
seasons.
2 seasons, yeah.
I was actually really enjoying that one myself. I was disappointed that got axed.
Are you thinking Robert Carlyle?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think when it came to that show, they drug some of the story arcs way too long, like finding the bridge to the destiny. They should have found that a lot sooner, I think.
Mhm.
There's like too much like backstabby kind of
Yeah.
things going on with it. There's things that they could have done different, they could have done better. They started to realize that towards the middle of the second season, but by then it was too late and it just fell
That was
flat.
actually that was my complaint actually. I remember when they tried to bring back V and they tried to reboot it. I was all excited for that. And that took forever to get through. I was like, oh, I thought, how can you
Oh
guys
man,
spoil
I
this? 'Cause
never forget V.
I love the original one so much, but man, that
I did too.
reboot was just, oh, they dropped the ball on that.
Uh, You know, it's I know Hollywood was trying to appeal to a new generation of young people,
Mhm.
showing what you know. Oh, look, something way back then was really popular. Can we,
Because it shocked
Mhm.
the hell out
Did
of us.
did they
Everything in
cancel?
that was like we had never seen any of that on television. By the
Did
time the
they?
2000s, nothing was new. You can't
Yeah.
really do the same thing. But that blew us when she like ate the gerbil and when he pulled its face off and it was an alien and we were like, holy crap, they did that on television. We went to school and talked about it all day at school the next day. But now, like
Mhm.
the shock value of things
No.
was gone by the
Mhm.
2000s. So no, you can't do that anymore.
You really
No,
can't.
no, no.
No.
Like
Did
70s,
they?
80s, and 90s was such a different
Oh
time
yeah,
period.
yeah.
But go ahead, Zach. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going. Oh, Galactica 1980. Uh, I barely remember it,
That
but I
didn't go over
was.
very well.
Caprica.
Yeah. But did they really cancel Halo, the series? Dennis asked about
Halo.
that. Why did they cancel Halo? I honestly agree they should have never even did a series on Halo. Don't ruin my childhood.
Hmm.
Don't ruin my games.
I thought it was going to be a
Don't
movie.
ruin Master Chief, man. That's what I'm more pissed off. They like ruin Master Chief. Good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Good, Dennis. Good.
Yeah.
It
But
was it
It was
was a video
really
game.
scary,
If you want a good series that parodies Halo, Red versus Blue.
Oh,
oh, all right.
oh
I don't
no,
even
no. Wait, I never mind. I was thinking something else there. Is then going back to
Bow chicka
shit.
wow
What
wow.
what what was it called? Spy versus Spy.
No, Spy
Oh
versus Spy.
God, yeah,
spy versus spy.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Man. But one thing as we reminiscing about like shows being rebooted and stuff and everything. Look, real quick because I know we're getting to our end of our
2 hour
time
mark.
period and stuff. But let's look at it like this because we're Star Trek fans. And we all not all of us enjoy every Star Trek series and stuff like that, but Star Trek debuted in 1966,
6.
correct?
Yep.
Yes, correct.
And then, from there, we seen them they from the 80s, they had their movies and stuff. When they continue on with Star Trek, with they call it the next generation,
Mhm.
you know, that was a different time period. A lot of people pushed back. And I think we talked about this about some people had some trepidation.
I expected to
Yeah.
bomb.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And it was there were some very hard feelings about who is this you know new captain, what is this new show, what is this ship and stuff and everything else. And for a good long while a lot of people did not know. Even Sir
Mhm.
Patrick Stewart at the time said he didn't know. He said he lived out his suitcase. He was
carefully.
like,
Yeah,
well,
Exactly.
I'll try this. I'll try this and everything else. But I don't know how long this lasts. To his luck, it lasted 7 seasons and stuff. And then what did we get out of Star Trek Next Generation? How many spinoff we get?
it just went
Really.
from
The
there.
DS9 and
Something
Voyager. Then
clicked
they
by
start doing.
season three.
Mhm.
Something clicked and turned around on that show, and it started. But they almost did lose it. The first 2 seasons, they almost lost it. But
Yeah.
they just hung on, I think, by a thread enough that it kept going. But the movies, the Kirk and Spock movies were still going. Like it was starting around the time between 4 and 5, I think. So
Mhm.
they thought it seemed
Mhm.
like too much of a competition too, that they were trying to start something new when we still had something of the old original crew still going. So there
And
was
then we
kind of a
all
move.
It's six.
realized that Jean-Luc Picard was better than the Shitner.
Yeah.
Katie was like, oh hey, oh yes, absolutely. She would absolutely and stuff. I mean, we everybody start comparing when we start seeing Jean-Luc Picard, Benjamin Sisko when he, came up, he was a commander, then he became captain, and then Janeway, people had trepidation about a female captain. You know,
Mhm.
a black man taking the lead role in
Yeah,
a Star
yeah,
Trek series and stuff like that.
Mm.
Star
Was
Trek,
it
people
a
really pushed
black
the bound. I mean,
Vulcan?
they pushed the bound. Yes,
Still,
a Black Vulcan.
no, that one's a little weird, actually. Do we know if there was? Well, obviously there would be Black Falcons.
Yeah,
It's been proven.
I wrote an entire editorial about that back in '95. Is just blast people saying, yeah, Vulcan, desert planet. And saying
Yeah.
maybe there's some
yeah.
people
They were
from different
talking
parts of the
about it.
planet they couldn't
Hmm.
or they weren't as sheltered as some of the white Vulcans, so their skin just adapted, just like
Just like
humans
here on
did.
Earth. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
makes
it was
Dennis.
sense.
a,
It is, yeah, and it's a desert planet. I don't even know how
yeah.
I don't know how the Vulcans succeeded on that planet, but they did, and they foiled us all.
Mm. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't get completely pureed on that, Dennis, and they'll just leave them out of
Y-
the
y-
blender.
I really do, Dennis, and I mean, I really hope that David Ellison and his father do not purchase Warner Brothers. If anything,
They got to
this
keep
is just
that
me.
separate.
This is just me personally, and this is just me saying everything. If any big company that is going to buy that I want to see buy Warner Brothers, because there's only 5 big major studios, and I don't want to see another studio buy another studio. That's just
Yeah.
there's not many studios left in Hollywood. I would rather see Apple. I would rather see
Mm,
Apple purchase Warner Brothers just because Apple really
Hmm.
it really has they have the cash money and stuff, and they've been wanting to get their hands in the entertainment industry as well and stuff because they got Apple TV Plus or whatever. But I
Hmm.
would rather see Apple instead of another competition because innovation breeds competition. Competition, I mean, 5 major studios, and when Fox was bought by Disney,
But
well, almost 10
but
years ago,
we don't live in
20th Century Fox.
mm.
innovation breeds competition.
And that's for another argument and stuff, another debate too.
That's for another
Oh,
show.
Good.
yes, 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 yes.
But But we definitely, technically, Trek definitely led up to its name tonight. I say it was a good conversation about Tom and Balana, but of course, yeah, we often like other topics kind of weasel their way, and we just go down that rabbit hole and can't get out. But it is what it is. That's what makes our show unique and great, I think. So,
I will say one more thing about Tom and Bilana though. It's the way that that both of them grew from the show. Like
to
when a Bilana become going from very standoffish to more of a lovable
Ooh, yes.
character. Growing from that ornery feller that just didn't really care, and he was
yeah,
kind of ornery, not giving a care in the world, didn't listen, and then you have like the whole reverse towards the end where he's pretty responsible. Like you go from irresponsibility, like child, to a grown man, like in a 7 year
hmm
period. So, I mean, and then they bonded together. So it was great that they actually did build something with them and
oh,
how they hit the trajectory mark.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
and
I agree.
oh, and
Hmm.
probably one of Tom's biggest growth moments was Pathfinder when they are actually able to make real time communication with Starfleet, and Tom's dad
Hmm.
there
Oh
was
yeah.
just like tell him I love him and I'm proud of him,
Yep.
and
Oh
that just
yes.
got Tom completely choked up there on the bridge. And Janeway say he heard you,
That,
sir. Mm.
that annoyed me when I
Hmm.
watched that because I thought, let him say hi to his dad. He's right
He,
there. Let
he
him
was
say hello.
he
I
was
was
too
like,
he was too emotionally compromised to
I
say
guess
anything.
just it was like,
Hmm.
hi, dad. Like, just I would have been like, fuck this. I'm saying hi to my dad.
Oh, no, like yeah, Janeway just saw Tom. He was all verklempt, so she responded for him. She's like, he heard you,
Yeah.
Admiral.
You know
Mhm.
what? It wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have all happened if it wasn't for insubordinate Lieutenant Commander Reginald Barkley.
Yeah.
Well, he was still. I think he was still. No, he was still a lieutenant in that up to that. He
Was
was
he
a
a lieutenant
lieutenant.
or lieutenant commander? I think he was a
Lieutenant.
lieutenant. If he's a lieutenant, then yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. He was a
it,
lieutenant commander in Endgame in the future,
okay.
or he might have
Eh,
been. He might. No, I think he was still lieutenant commander, but.
I got
well,
to ask a question here in the chats. Dennis Koch, are you a fellow Canadian there, bud? I just noticed he said when he said Apple is not available, he burped something. Yeah. Okay, all right. Yeah, because when you said Apple is not available ever, most shows from Hulu and Apple go to Crave up here. That is true, but I can pick up Apple. I had a subscription to Apple for a while, but they raised the price, and I was like, I'm not paying that because we pay about a third more for everything here. So if something's $10 in the US, it's like 13 something here in Canada. So, but Hulu definitely we don't. I think we even get Hulu up here. All that ends up going on Disney Plus. But Apple, though, we do like we get. I think we get pretty much
Mm.
everything on Apple. But
But yet Murdoch Mysteries comes to Hulu. Weird.
No,
Or it
no.
did.
oh,
Pretty
all right,
interesting.
yeah, that's actually a good show. That was on for a long time.
I love that show,
It was
man.
a good show. Yeah. That
Mm.
was on for ages.
Yeah, but you're saying Murdoch, the other Murdoch with MacGyver. I think it was awesome that they got the original actor that played Murdoch, Michael Des Barnes, I think is how you say his name,
Hmm.
played the new Murdoch is like I forget the name that the original Murdoch played, but he was just as nuts in the head as Murdoch was.
Howling Mad
Yeah.
Murdoch.
Well, no, that's A-Team. That's what Barkley played before,
Yeah.
but with
yes,
MacGyver though.
yes.
Yeah, but see, I would have I think I would have liked to see when Tate Donovan, I think is the actor's name that played MacGyver's dad in the reboot.
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I think Richard Dean Anderson would have been a
He
great
should have.
person.
They
Yeah.
missed the mark on that one.
Dropping the ball.
They missed it. Me and my mom both said the same thing when they did. I'm like, they missed the fucking mark.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you guys mentioned
It's-
Murdoch Mysteries. Any of you guys actually heard of Letterkenny, by the way? So I
I've
know
heard
that
of it.
was
I haven't
popular
seen
with
it.
some people in the US, but
Yeah, I've heard of
crude
it.
humor, but God, one of the funniest goddamn shows we ever made up here in Canada.
Mm.
Funny
What's it
show.
called?
Letterkenny.
Letterkenny. Okay.
It's a mythical town in northern Ontario, and it's just
I'll have to
the
look it up.
shenanigans and goings on in this northern Ontario town. But
Mm.
in this little
Is it
town.
Is it anything like Republic of Doyle?
No. I
Oh.
loved Republic of Doyle. That was one of my favorite
Great
shows when
show.
that was on. Yeah. No, Letterkenny
Well-
is just. I also like Corner Gas. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Corner Gas. That was a big famous.
Yeah.
I love Corner Gas.
Yes. Yeah, my friends here, they are obsessed with that. When I was hanging out with them, we would watch hours of episodes. That was I was just looking at what's the name of that gas show?
Corner Gas.
Corner
They went
Gas.
6 seasons live action, and then they went 4 seasons animated,
Hmm.
which was
Wow.
also really good.
But yeah, see, I kind of blipped it earlier because we were talking about it. But next week we're going to talk Bride of Chaotica.
Oh yeah.
And say that
Yeah.
once October hits, we're going to start. I'll have to get it lined up. Talking spooky episodes. We did Schisms when we were still on Twitter Spaces, but I wanted one for Next Generation. I want to do Frame of Mind. That is like one of those really mind fuck episodes, in my opinion.
Oh nice.
But Cogenitor, I think.
Talk to Alan Hocko. That's cool.
Yeah, Cogenitor from Enterprise, I think would be a good. Well, maybe.
I mean,
well, it'd be a good episode because it's National Coming Out Day in October, But
You could also get Manu on, and we can talk the spookiness of behind the scenes.
well,
Uh,
no, yeah. I have been talking to Manu.
yeah.
He will come back to discuss another episode. We were thinking imperfection would be a good one for him to come on, because that was one of the stronger episodes for Egypt on with Child's Play, which we had him on for that too. So
Mm-hmm.
or but yeah, see, I've redone the format to actually give him a bigger box than the guest box that we had in him last time. So I got a completely new format set up for all this for when we bring him back on. But this weekend he's going to, well, this week he's going to be driving family back um, to the Seattle area, and he's going to fly back on Sunday. So when he gets back, we're going to discuss it a little more. He's actually going to record a plug for Dangerous Thoughts for us to play on my show here. So yeah, Dangerous Thoughts is coming back. Hopefully, that they haven't set an official date, but it's going to be October, which I think is perfect because they can start doing spooky episodes again. Uh, I agree, Dennis. Yeah, say because it's just one by the drama that they're following. Oh yeah, yeah. See, so that's writers. Then of course he just had that one bit part playing Calto with Tuvok in Endgame, which that's just a wasted opportunity for the characters. We should have had more closure in that regard. But these these
Are
stupid.
you are you doing like a Halloween show the Monday before Halloween, or maybe the Monday after, or do you know yet? Are you thinking that far ahead?
I haven't thought quite that far ahead just yet, but like I said, yeah, spooky episodes on the 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th. So,
Okay. I have to work Mondays through the second half of October, unfortunately. So
bummer.
yeah.
Well, at least they're letting you know ahead of time and not at the last minute.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you never know. Last minute that could come up too. They pull that on me all the time. But
Hey, Phil, I seen there was times that you went live. It was late at night on Saturday night stuff. I work. I'm like, oh my god! I looked in the morning. And I'm like, oh, Phil went live last night and stuff. I was like, let me tell you this. Me and Katie was talking backstage last week, and we was talking about your drawing of the Gorn.
oh
She
yeah.
said to me, she said to me, she said, Travis, if is it me or did that Gorn kind of look a little, you know, gay? I said, you know what? We started
Oh.
dabbling about like what will a gay Gorn look like? You know, I mean,
It wasn't intentional, but
I was like,
Did it have the flick of the wrist?
Or a flick of the tongue.
I said, she said, if you wants to make a drawing of a gay Gorn, so she said she will purchase that and put that on t-shirt.
oh
She said
god.
she would love to see a gay Gorn, something
Gay
like
Gorn.
that. She was just talking. We were just going. I said, you know what? That's so funny. You know, I said, what other little characters that we could tell Phil that he could draw
Hey,
just like a little gayish and stuff and everything. We started throwing out like maybe Ringy or a Tribble.
an Andolian.
Gay trouble.
We were just
Gay
throwing out little
dribble.
things like that. It's like, you know, what color, you know, I'm not saying what color would it be, but like what would their outfits look like?
Like yeah.
A
You know,
gay Klingon.
that's one thing that
That
Katie
was
said.
Oh my
all I
Well,
gotta say
I'll
though is
kick that around. But
if the Gorn was gay, shouldn't Kirk be intertwined with the Gorn?
they are lizards.
That's for you, Katie.
Oh, we were just having so much fun backstage talking about that. She was like, you know, just like, you know, gay, just like gay characters, not characters per se, but like aliens that we seen throughout
Right.
Star Trek. Like a card. Well, Garrick. For instance, we already seen Garrick and stuff like that. But like, what would like a species that you see that was just so rambunctious, like
Right.
we throw out the Klingons, but like another
Dorian or something
species
that's
that you wouldn't think could what
Mhm.
would a gay character look like in that species? Say for example, a Nautican.
Oh
Right.
my god. Yikes. That's a visual I don't need in my head right now.
But the gay
Again.
Gorn really
There you
just
go.
a loop. When she said
I-
it had a little turtleneck and stuff, and she was like the way it was. She said it just looked kind of look gay to me, Travis. Don't you think? I
The
said
funny thing was, I was
if
drawing it based on the image, and it has this thing around its neck that the shirt kind of attaches to, and that was what was supposed to be around its neck. But I think when I drew it a little wider, and it ended up looking more like a turtleneck, but it wasn't. It was just
said
the shirt part that attached around the neck. But
she was like, "Well, if it comes with a list, I'm all in."
Katie, where's Katie tonight? Is she not well again? Or
No, she's got an early doctor's appointment, so
oh,
she wanted to
okay,
be sure to try to get at least
yeah,
some
That's why I'm
sleep.
co-hosting.
okay.
But
But no, Phil, you really did a really good job. We were very impressed with your
mhm.
drawing and stuff, and
Thank you.
we
Yeah,
really liked that and stuff.
I,
And
I am
she's
I am
go
going to
ahead.
continue that. I'm going to go live after this to do a drawing live as soon as we're done here. So
So I might pop in on that. I got some house duties I have to tend to
okay,
here
all right.
and other
Yeah, I'll pop in for a little bit. I gotta get
duties.
up at 8 in the morning,
Duties.
but yeah, I'll pop in.
For a bit, yeah. If you want to just pop in and say hi, that's fine. I don't feel obligated. It's just going to be kind of a drawing stream, and I'm going to be talking a bit about some projects I'm going to be working on the next little while. So
And I'm
I'll
probably
explain it
going
all
to,
over there. So
after I take care of the business I need to take care of, I'm probably going to go to bed because I am exhausted. I've just been
Mhm.
nodding off tonight. So it's just
You
it's
look
just
tired.
it's been an emotionally taxing
Hmm.
couple of
You look
days.
cold,
So
Dave.
oh yeah, it's just the scarf I got at the soccer game on Saturday. So it's like
Nice.
yeah, it's like $30.
Dave's
So I'm definitely
that's
gonna
Dave's gay coming
Oh.
out.
To
yeah,
mention that,
but it's a
I can't. Go ahead.
it's a switchbacks the local minor league soccer team. So I've been going
You
to a
know what,
couple of
Dave?
games.
That's sick.
Yo,
We should get you a NASCAR
I
like
can't put it
Freddie
on
from
here. I have to open the
Scooby Doo.
chat.
Scooby Doo. I don't know. After wearing this, I might be able to pull an ascot. I don't know.
Okay. I
Just to
like
mention, Dave, quick. I'm under Phil Chandler Arts. I can't type in the
Nice.
chat here on the StreamYard. It never lets me put it in. It keeps saying join the chat. I am signed in, but I can't type on here for some reason. But it's the same. It's just Phil Chandler Arts. I can type it in. Just look for that on YouTube under channels. You'll find it.
Yeah. Or say if you just go on YouTube, you might be able to just put it on there instead of through the StreamYard itself. Yeah, I am a little color
Oh,
coordinated
yeah, that's right.
tonight.
I had to go on YouTube and put it on there. But yeah, just
All I gotta say is, Dave, you're missing the yarmulke.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'd be falling off my head with these headsets on probably.
Muscle
But hey,
puff.
it would cover the bump on my back of my head. But
Go forth, bald head.
But
Two kings.
yes,
Two.
this has been a fun little talk and little discussion about Balana and Tom and their relationship and stuff. And can't wait for next week. You said Barada Chaotica. So everybody, you know what's
Another
coming
kind
up.
of a little Tom centric episode. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, so remember, you're the queen. That's probably one of the best lines from that episode.
Absolutely. Wow.
But yeah, thanks everyone for joining tonight. Remember down below at Dave Prime 1701, like and subscribe to the channel. Let's see, I think we got a new guy that signed up that I met over the weekend. So hopefully, if he's joining, so thanks for watching, everybody. Until next week, may Spock be with you.
Thank you for stopping by, Dennis.